but looking for overlap is a simple way. If you start going down to motivation, that's
Yeah,
something else.
then you follow the money. Then you got to do overlap plus follow the money. I mean, if
Yeah,
you do those things
what's
together,
your motivation for saying this, right? It's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you're
Why are
paying
you
me to,
saying that?
you're paying me to say it in essence. Oh, you're funding my research. That's the same thing as paying me to say it.
Oh, of course, yeah, right, yeah, exactly, yeah. And so you can start to look at you combine those two things, and you can get pretty quickly without doing deep analysis. You can kind of get at least pointed in the right direction generally. But
I
remember,
think
Chris, I'm an engineer. I don't need to go deep analysis. I have these little rule of thumbs and shortcuts that I can get a pretty good answer pretty quickly.
I think so. I like going to understanding motivation. I think that's a good thing to
Yeah,
understand. Um, I also look to see where could this be broken when someone says something,
yeah,
and I look at how something is said. Right, when someone
yeah,
says this is good for you,
yeah,
if they don't caveat where it might not be good for you,
yeah. Right.
then I immediately distrust the outcome, the output.
Yeah,
Right.
possibly. Yeah.
So usually when you're doing an experiment, you say these are the things we did. We were able to prove our theory. Da da da. Here's the outliers, and here's why we think they're outliers, and why we think the experiment is still good even with these outliers.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You don't discredit the entire experiment just because you had one or two things that didn't fit into it.
Yeah.
If you can explain them away in the right way, and
Yeah.
how you justify that is important, right?
Yeah.
We
Okay.
didn't like so one of the thing with Ansel Keys is one of the studies in one of his papers was he showed 6 different countries where the amount of fat they ate was tied to their heart health,
Okay.
right? And he had a chart and it showed it the more fat you ate, like in America, you had a higher chance of getting a heart attack.
Yeah. Right.
So it was a chart with 6 points on it in 6 different countries. It's called
Yeah.
the 6 country chart or something like that.
Okay.
Turns out he had data points from 22 countries. He
Okay.
excluded the ones that didn't show what he wanted it to show.
Well, of course. Yeah. Yeah, it's called bias.
No,
Yeah.
that's not.
Exactly.
Of course, that's what you call not science. That's what you call. It's not even bad science. That's what you call lying by omission.
Well, yeah. Correct, Chris. That's all studies are like. Yes. Exactly. That's the
No,
default.
no,
That
no,
that's
no,
not
no,
the
no, no.
that's the
That
default. Yes.
that not. If you say it's science, it's science. It needs to be science.
No, that's called lying.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. People
No, no,
people
no,
just
no.
use the
Then
word
it's a
science.
marketing tool. Then it's an advertisement. Then it's your
Correct.
opinion. Right?
Yes.
No, no, no. Then it's
Yes.
not science. And you can't
Yeah.
hide behind science and say I'm a scientist. No, you're a lying friggin' scientist.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. You're a marketing guy. Yeah, correct. But you can
Right.
say anything you want. I mean, I can't control people's speech.
Well, you know what? Since he's the responsible for the death of what I've calculated as what 5 million people, maybe we should have just silenced him and killed him.
I'm just telling you, Chris. That's just how it works. It's like that's just yeah. Of course. I mean, that's the world we're operating in. Just because somebody says I'm a scientist, I don't trust their data just because they say that. I'm like, you got to show me. You got to prove it to me. Show me your methodology.
He
Let me.
did. He proved it, and it wasn't until a couple years later when people disproved it, and by that point he already established that he was right and got enough momentum behind it that they couldn't overcome it.
Well, they didn't dig in. They didn't dig enough. I mean, how many countries did you test? Show me all your data, right? I mean, that's the first thing I'd go after. Is this all the data?
And what happens if he says, "Yeah, it was all the data"?
Well, okay. Then in that case, I'd be like, okay. I mean, I would have to
Yeah,
start.
you've seen this one woman who got caught lying on her labs on her reports. She got caught out by some group who was saying her results were wrong.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, she sued Harvard or somebody, and Harvard ended up winning. They did an investigation,
Yeah.
and she'd gotten her professorship off of
Okay.
these
Yeah.
reports and the
Yeah.
like, and so they discredited her. But it took years to discredit
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and the problem with like peer review today, people are too lazy about it. They don't do it
Yeah.
well. They don't bother to go back. They either don't know how to do a good study and build an experiment, or they don't do the effort to look. They just look at
Yeah.
the like the intro and the summary. The other thing is, if anyone else wants to review it, a lot of these studies are behind a paywall, which
Of
means that
course.
it's hard to go. You got to spend money to go validate that these studies are
Yeah.
any good.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's why I really don't like meta studies. To me, meta studies are the laziest thing you could do.
Well, they can
So,
they can have value, but it depends on who's doing the study and why. That's why you got to follow the money. Who's paying for this? Who's going to benefit from the results of this study?
so follow the money's fine, and I think it if you can follow the money, that's the thing. But it's not the only motivation people have.
No, no, not the only one, but I mean, it certainly is a big one. I mean, so in my case, Chris, if I can take multiple people overlapping the results and then follow the money, I mean, I can pretty quickly kind of see if this thing passes the sniff test or not. I may not be precisely right, but I can have a pretty good idea.
I can read a lab report and tell if it passes a sniff test. I don't need anything beyond that.
Maybe, I don't know.
The thing about scientific method properly followed, if you are truly thinking like a scientist, you should be able to go through there and find the faults in it if they're there.
Well, assuming they're not lying, right?
Assuming they're not lying, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
right. But my method will cover
If
out
the entire thing's a fabrication, then I guess it could be a really good fabrication. If it's a really good fabrication, that's the problem is I really don't think things get reviewed anywhere near the way they.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Past.
My technique it'll flesh out the lies as well too. It's
People want the credit; approach. They don't care about the work.
I mean, some people, yeah. I mean, not everybody.
So you're saying some people. I'm just saying. I think there's an impetus now to get the credit for writing a report and not caring about what the results of the report are. Or
to some extent.
Yeah, so the actual scientists aren't scientists anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you got it. That's why if you really want to get real, true data, then you've got to let really good scientists do that data thing, and you can't influence the results in any way, which is next to impossible to actually implement.
I don't know. I have a view of science that it is possible to do that.
I mean, it could be, but you're talking about human nature, and human nature is just.
You're talking about the implementation. I'm talking about the purity of science, and you're talking about implementation of that. I think that's what we're.
Yeah, right. Remember, I'm an engineer, so I'm always looking down to the practice.